Okay. Okay, let's see. We will go ahead and get started now. So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Leveraging AI and Other Tools for Your Marketing Department in 2025. We're thrilled to have you guys here as we dive into how technology and AI and innovative tools are transforming private club marketing and member engagement. So we have two outstanding speakers today who are leading the way in club marketing, technology, and AI-driven strategies. First up, we have Ben Lorenzen, CCM, the creative director of Champions Run Country Club in Omaha, Nebraska. Ben is widely recognized for his innovation in club concepts as a national speaker. He shares his expertise in member engagement, technology, marketing, fitness, and aquatics, helping to shape the future of private clubs nationwide. Joining Ben, we have Blake Davis here, the CEO and founder of Long Drive Agency and ClubChat. Blake is a digital marketing expert specializing in AI-driven communication strategies for private clubs. He's developed cutting-edge tools that modernize marketing efforts, embracing branding and improve member experiences, making him a key innovator in the industry. Together, Ben and Blake will provide valuable insights on how clubs can embrace AI and other tools to enhance your marketing strategies and stay ahead in 2025. So before we get started, just a quick housekeeping note. This session is being recorded and it will be shared on PCMA's website for those of you who want to revisit this discussion or share it with your team. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to drop them in the chat, and Blake and Ben will address them as they come in or at the end. So your questions will be answered. Do not hesitate to ask them. So I guess without further ado, I'll hand it over to Ben and Blake to jump right in.
All right. Hey, everybody.
Awesome.
How we doing? So it's interesting to me, Blake introduced me to ChatGPT in late 2022, and early on I knew this was going to be a game changer in the club industry. And part of my presentation was always teaching people what ChatGPT, and then when it got into mainstream media, it blew up, right? Now I think that's kind of what a lot of us associate AI with, is ChatGPT, right? So I think as club managers, marketing, communications people, like, we're using it in all different ways. I think today we're going to talk about some things you probably haven't heard of, some things that might make your job a little bit easier, and just other things that when we talk about AI that you may not be using it to your full capability. And we always describe it using it at a very elementary level. And we're going to give you kind of some tips and tricks to kind of elevate what you'll do. So probably 2 months ago, we sent out a survey out on LinkedIn, and really it was geared towards communication professionals as well as their general managers, just trying to understand how people are using communications in the club industry. And there's not one right way or wrong way, I would say, but there's a million different ways we're all using it. 58% are still sending club emails, 5 to 10 emails per week. The time spent per month, that's kind of the big thing. Like, we're hopefully going to give you some tools that are going to save you the time, which I think, when you have that time saving, you can produce more content, focus your energies on things that might matter more at the club. 61% of the people are using AI weekly, and then 92% expect to increase AI usage in 2025, which is, it's crazy. I just did a presentation for the GCSA, so agronomy guys, on AI, and their minds were just blown, right? We kind of live in this every day, but I think we're going to show you some pretty cool stuff today. And Blake's going to kind of go over some of the basics right now of ChatGPT prompting, and then we're going to show you some cool stuff along the way. So feel free to pop those questions in as we go.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll start with kind of understanding the basics from all the club managers and membership directors, communication professionals that I've spoken with. They're all kind of like what Ben was saying, using it at a elementary level. They're using it to help them create newsletter content or refine an email that they already typed up. But what we're going to go into more is like how prompting matters. This is something, I've been using AI for years, since it came out. ChatGPT came out over 2 years ago, And what I've learned more recently is what you put in truly matters. If you give it, there's a quote, garbage in, garbage out. If you're not giving it the right parameters and the right prompt, it's not going to, probably provide you with what you're expecting. So we'll go into prompting, why it matters, how you're able to upload your full, whether it's a weekly or monthly club newsletter, and how you can utilize that with the right prompts to provide you with a fully, HTML email that you can send out, all fully designed. You can do it for all of your social media content, for event promotion, text messages, and then we'll go into, this is a rather new thing, but AI for video creation. So yeah, prompting 101, like that quote, garbage in, garbage out. Instead of just saying, hey, make me a cool flyer for this golf event or for the steak and wine night, add some more detail to your prompt. Give it the parameters, give it the time and date, but then also ask. Let me copy and paste here, and we'll actually do a live example. Ask ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI model that you're using to help me improve my prompt. So I kind of dub this as like prompting your prompt, right? So before you got to go in and expect it to, create your flyer or create your email content, give it the prompt that you want and ask it, help me improve this prompt. And so then it's going to come back and give you a much more detailed prompt that you can just copy and paste or copy it in there. Maybe, you don't want golf themed imagery. Maybe you want, wine theme imagery, right? So you can make some edits to it, but then use this as your kind of starting prompt. So before you kind of get going and everything, I always say, like, prompt your prompt and do that. You can do it in the same window, it doesn't matter, or you could copy and paste, start a new window and start with that. So yes, prompting certainly matters. And this was a tweet from Greg Brockman, who's the CTO of OpenAI. And so this is kind of what he calls like the anatomy of a quality 01, their latest model prompt. You start with first your overall goal. What is it you're wanting to get out of it? And then under that, you have the return format. How do you want the data, the image, the content back? Then third, it would be any warnings, like, hey, make sure that we are using dates, make sure we're not using any names. And then last piece being the extra content, extra details. So using this as kind of like a template of how you are building your prompts that you're putting into these AI models is going to provide you, with the best results. Yeah, this is one that we'll go over kind of how we did a video prompt, but I gave it a screenshot, asked it to do a realistic, drone fly through, and this is the actual prompt that I used, and I put this prompt in first, and I had it create the video, and then when you compare the results side by side, there's a huge difference of quality in the output. And we'll go through, this specific example when we get into kind of more the live demo. But I assume, how most clubs are using it now, they're using it to create newsletter content, expand on what they already have. One tip that Jordan and I were just talking about before everybody got in, if you have one of the pro models for either ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, if you haven't already, go into the settings, and there should be a fine tuning or learning memory setting to where you can go in there and fill out the exact details. So whether it's, you're using one account, multiple people at the club are using it, you can kind of prompt the model. So each and every time that you start a new query or a new thread, that model is going to be prompted with those instructions for each and every one. And so you're going to feel like it's a lot more useful when it kind of knows you and is fine-tuned to the specific user or specific club that's using it. So we'll get into kind of like the live demo of newsletters. I'm sure every club in here is sending out some form of newsletter, whether it's a PDF created in Canva, or they're just building out their weekly newsletter email. And so for this, Ben shared their Champions Run February edition. And so this is how I started it out, was this exact prompt: help me improve. I'm uploading the Champions Run monthly newsletter. Please analyze the content and help me with 3 things. Draft an email that I can use to send out to members, create social media content I can post through the month and schedule for the month, and create text message campaigns with event reminders. And so I just took the PDF copy of this, and I personally use Claude. I find that since their latest release two weeks ago or so, it's a little bit ahead of ChatGPT. But as 30 minutes ago, according to Twitter, ChatGPT just released their latest model. So these things are. I was joking with Jordan earlier. I almost feel like this presentation might be a little dated because ChatGPT released their brand new model. So, we might be able to do things, that aren't in this presentation or that we haven't done before. So they're always getting better and they're always refining. But this is the prompt that I prompted it to use, right? And so this is what it came back with. Let me get to the right one. The social media calendar. It went through, it reviewed all the events that are coming up and created specific content for week 1, week 2, week 3 for all the social media. It gives you suggestions on hashtags. It gives you these suggestions on what type of imagery or video to post with it. It came back with the exact text campaigns that we asked for, with promoting events, event reminders, and then it also created an HTML email. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with being able to copy and paste an HTML email created into where they use Jonas or North Star's email system. I'm pretty sure that they do have those capabilities, but this is what the email came back with. And so it's a pretty well-designed email that outlines, every single event and highlights, we asked for a quick snippet from the general manager's letter that links to the full PDF image or PDF file of the newsletter, highlighting all the events. And all that was done within a matter of minutes. And so kind of what Ben was saying, going back to the survey that was sent out a couple months back, was club professionals or marketing communication, they're spending 30, 40, 50 hours a week juggling creating the emails and designing them, the flyers, creating the text in social media campaigns. So, a big thing to take away from today is uploading your newsletter and having the right crafted prompts to where it can spit all of that content out that, you don't have to use it verbatim, obviously, but you can use that as a starting point. Now, next tab, this is for developers. So this is obviously not something most people have access to, but kind of the example I wanted to go through was, models matter, right? If you're using kind of the older version, the free version of ChatGPT versus what you could get with the, $20 a month plus plan, you're always going to get the, latest and greatest tools. But I took the exact same newsletter prompt that I put into Claude, and you notice like this is the model that was, the newest, latest, and greatest 8-9 months ago, and then this is the model that was released 2 weeks ago. And so what it's going to do is compare the models and kind of show you the difference. And so we're getting down to the content. So here's, the Facebook and Instagram posts of 8-9 months ago. That is what the model was spitting out. Still good. But if you look at what the latest model, get down there, is spitting out, for February 1st, cheers, a fun-filled February at Champions Run. Check out our exciting events each month, versus what week 1, week 2, it's giving you a lot more descriptive, a lot more humanized voice. So, the thing to always remember is like the model matters, and to always be using kind of the newest model, and that's going to obviously give you the best results. And this is what I took from the model 8 months ago. And when I asked it to provide an HTML email, this is what it came back with. So obviously, we've come a long way in less than a year's time of the exact same prompt, the exact same newsletter. This is what you got 8 months ago, versus this is what you're getting today. So let's bounce back. We went into club content created instantly. Yeah, now we'll jump into the video that we created from a single drone image. So we took a beautiful picture of Champions Run. All I did was screenshotted an image from their website. I went to ChatGPT and I said, I'm using an AI video generator and uploading an image of a drone shot. So again, prompting my prompt, right? So this is what it came back and gave me: a highly realistic video animations with slow zoom effect. So I copied this, I pasted this in with the screenshot, and then this is what it came back with. A couple things with AI and video right now, as it stands, you're really limited to under 10 seconds. It's not going to create a minute-long video for you. A couple ways around that are create 3, 4, 5 different clips, again using the similar prompts, and then exporting those, and then mashing those together, bringing those into Canva or Premiere Pro. But yeah, right now that's the big limitation with AI video is it's very short. But on this example, we took this video, I downloaded it, and then I pulled it into Canva. And so whether you're trying to make Instagram story videos or Facebook ads, but I pulled this in, drug in the logo, changed the text on there, and that would be that could work for, a promotional video bumper, or again, like a Facebook ad to generate new members. But all of that was done, in less than 5 minutes. And so it's pretty amazing, what you can do with video, and it's only going to get better. All right, Ben, you want to go into kind of how you're using it for the
Yeah,
wine event?
yeah, so we've been using it a lot for event ideas, coming up with new event ideas. This is one that Rachel and I came up with about it was an event built around like the world's most famous stolen wine paintings. And if you've seen me on LinkedIn, you've probably seen this. But we basically created an art gallery in our lower level. It was very kind of like spooky a little bit. And we prompted ChatGPT to tell us like, hey, what are the 5 most stolen paintings of all time? Like, what are they? Now give us the story. And it was kind of keep pumping in more information, prompting like, hey, give me more. And then from there, after we got the information, it was okay, now pair each painting. You gave us 5 paintings, paint each or pair each painting with a prisoner wine and tell us why you're doing it. And so then I just pumped out why. And then we said, great, now give us a script that our staff can tell, like a highlights script of our staff explaining each painting and how it was stolen, what the value is, all this. And so ChatGPT basically helped craft this just amazing wine experience that I don't think we would have been able to do. We probably could have done it without ChatGPT, but the time that it saved us to do a really cool experience like this. And so that's just another really cool way. The other thing that we've done, and if you follow us on Instagram, which I recommend doing, Champions Omaha, we use AI generated music too. So like you can create custom songs with custom lyrics and
What's that
jingle.
website, Ben?
Um, it is,
AI Music FM.
yeah, I believe that's what it is. Yeah,
Yes.
AI music.fm. So like we do like jingles for our chef when he creates a dish. We call it dishing it with DJ, and it's just like a fun jingle that you'd hear on the radio. That kind of like buffers into the videos of him cooking and stuff. And so it's a super cool tool. I know a lot of people are always concerned about royalty-free music. This is a great way to kind of create your own music that's royalty-free. There's a lot of great sites out there, but this is one we just started using and it is so much fun. It's so much fun to play around with. And we do staff songs, we do just stuff for video content because we do a lot of video content. So that's been really cool for us. And I just think like with AI, there's just so many different outlets that you can use. It's trying to figure out what you want to accomplish and then finding an AI tool or platform that can help you achieve that, whether it's music driven. Blake talked about ChatGPT, Dolly's like image generation, Sora is going to be chat or the video generation of ChatGPT. So
Mhm.
there's just a lot of models and there's a lot of tools. And so, and more keep popping up, right? I think there's a lot of AI music ones. This was just happened to be the first one I clicked on. And they're only going to get better and better as time goes on. Like Blake said, the amount we've grown in 8 to 9 months is just insane. So I say like don't be afraid of AI. It's how do you leverage AI to help you save time and to
Mhm.
make you a more creative person with the content or the stuff that you're doing at your club.
And Ben, do you want to talk a little bit about the form?
Yeah, that's the other piece we love to use it for is, form generation. I know a lot of you probably do membership surveys, which are very, very time consuming. Leveraging ChatGPT to help you build out those surveys can do it in minutes, as long as you prompt it right. I think that's the biggest thing is how do you prompt it? Um, but when you're doing a membership survey, we use Jotform, but like these platforms can help you just save so much time and create effective surveys versus just slapping something on the board, right? I think that's the other piece is making us look more professional in our jobs as well. So
Yeah. And
lastly,
one thing
but
with this though, quickly is like kind of when I was going back earlier and talking about, models matter. Claude is definitely going to be better than than ChatGPT when it comes to anything design wise. So when designing a form, designing an email, flyers, right now that model Claude is ahead. And so I did the exact same prompt. This is ChatGPT's version for the survey. So we just showed you the Claude one versus this is the output of the latest ChatGPT model. And so to me, there's a big difference in the quality of the design of this, versus this. And so it's, again, same exact prompt, but you're getting, two totally different outputs purely depending on the model that you're using. Do we have any questions, or Ben, where were you going to pick it up?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of tell you, what we've been kind of working on. I'm sure all of you communication, membership, marketing people can agree that there's so many different things that we're using to try to achieve our goals, whether it's like you're using a combination of Canva and North Star and CapCut and just ChatGPT, and there's just so many things that, like, what I will say is, like, we have so many subscriptions for where it's sometimes hard to navigate, where like you don't even know what you're paying for and things like that. One thing that, Blake and I have been talking about and working on for quite a while is, like, how do you create that one-stop shop for like all your communication needs? Because I don't think there's anything out there. Like, we were for the longest time using like text messages through Zingle and North Star for email. And so one thing, like when I was voicing all of my frustrations to Blake, 2 years ago, a year ago, just how there's no centralized system. So that's what we've kind of been coming up with in the past or in recently is how can we create that one-stop shop that just helps communication professionals, like where they can just do it all from one platform versus um multiple ones. So that's where ClubChat was developed. And it's basically ChatGPT built specifically for clubs. I feel like that's a safe way to say it. But it has email marketing within it, has your AI assistant, a text platform where you can text your members, which I know some North Star and Jonas are doing things like that, but they're still not meant for that. They outsource it. Having like a member platform, the content calendar is like the huge one that I feel the most questions is like, when do you post? Like, how often do you post? What's the frequency? And then also like what platforms, so like what social media are you using? And then Canva on the design piece, having a hub for all your media is another piece. And then finally, like the CRM piece of it, where just tracking leads and things like that, because not all of us are fortunate enough to have like a communications, marketing, and a membership director, right? Sometimes we have to wear all the hats. And so with that, this has just kind of helped create that. So we're kind of in that beta testing portion of it, and it's so far been really successful. But just a cool thing that I think is like on the horizon of things to make our job easier, which, ChatGPT started doing that 2 years ago for me, and I feel like made us just a better, well-rounded club. And I think like this on the horizon is amazing as well. So just wanted to put that in the universe. But what
Yeah,
questions? Yeah, I guess what
I,
questions do you guys have? What are you struggling with? That's the big question for all of you.
one kind of last thing too is I always think about like where is AI going to be in the next 6 or 12 months. Like we were saying earlier, it's constantly changing. But what the guys I follow, the guys that are creating these foundational models, the next big things that they are talking about that they're working on, that they're beta testing, is kind of verticalized AI, or they're where you can have an AI that's just specific for the club industry or the car industry. And so they're taking these foundational models, being ChatGPT or Claude, and then they're kind of building on top of it so they can customize it more. And so things that we're working on is being able to integrate with a club's POS, whether it's North Star, Jonas, Club Essential, to where when the member profile, we can see the all the POS data, so it knows if Mr. Jones likes old fashions and Miller Lights and plays on Saturdays. Never touched a tennis court in the 15 years he's been a member there, so that the email and the communications he gets is much more personalized to each member. So they're not getting a newsletter. A tennis member that's never played golf before, their newsletter and their communications would be different, kind of based off of what type of member they are. And so, all of that is certainly coming to where you can leverage actual data for communications. It's just not quite there yet to be able to sink into a POS, but certainly something that every club should be planning on, because that's just months down the road.
The last piece I have is if you are using ChatGPT, just still fuel it with your own thoughts. I can't tell you the amount of times I read content, post stuff, and whenever I see the words fostering a sense of community, I'm like, Jesus, come on here. Let's go. I think that's the one thing. You can see it in the hospitality industry. It keeps like grabbing those keywords where it's like, hey, use it as like an auxiliary piece, but don't let it do your entire job for you too. You still want to sound human and personable, because that's the hospitality business, but stop putting fostering sense of community in your stuff.
And that's one thing I have seen a few GMs do is, they'll take 8 or 10 of their membership letters that they've used in the past, that they've written themselves, and they put those all into one PDF or one Word doc, and they upload that into their settings. And so that you can say, write it in my voice, it's going to reference those 8 or 10, whatever you've uploaded and saved into the custom instructions in memory, and it will write it in the style and the tone and voice that you use, versus kind of when you read something, it sounds completely AI created. So taking the time to really customize and fine tune, train your model, you're going to get a lot better results in the long run.
Well, I think that's everything. If you guys have questions, shoot them in the chat box. Otherwise, I think Jordan has our contacts, so she'll send those out, and feel free to call, text, email, AI us, and we'll get in touch.
I just have one quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
We've gone over quite a few different AI models today. And for somebody that's kind of new into AI, it can be a little bit overwhelming to see how many options there are out there. So if a club could only implement maybe one new AI-driven tool, which one would you recommend and why?
Well, so
Yeah.
what would be your main uses for it is kind of the question I would throw back at you is how are you intending to use it? Because like we said, like different models do different things. There's really 2 or 3 main foundational models right now. And that's the 2 I would say is obviously ChatGPT, OpenAI, but what a lot of people don't know about currently is Claude. So it's just Claude.ai. But again, these are foundational models, which they call, which in the next few months and throughout the next year, you're going to see more verticalized AI. So models that are specifically fine-tuned and fully integrated, that are a lot more. They're just more. They're meant for a specific vertical or specific use cases. But I guess long-winded answer of saying for right now, I would say ChatGPT or Claude.
And for me, like I'm gonna go a different just route of just saying like how I would use it versus like which platform. So I mean, we're all a lot of us on this call are communications people, so or marketing. So that's kind of our role in our job. I think and sometimes it's finding unique ways to get people to maybe come to an event where we're working hand in hand with an event director. So let's just say you're having like live music, or let's just say like a daddy daughter dance that's coming up. Like plug that into ChatGPT. Hey, give me 10 ideas on video content of some promo ideas I could do to promote this event right here. And I think that's where you're going to kind of see the creative wheels start turning of like, oh, this sounds like a funny video idea. You know, I know Marie's on the chat. She just had an amazing video, a hilarious golf video. I recommend go checking it out. But getting like the creative juices going that way, that's how I would use it on how to market events maybe versus just copy and using it as like copy for emails or text. It's more of the idea generation and how you can make an event better. That's how I would do it. So
Great, thank you.
I have a question about the forms that you were using. Can you
go
hear me?
ahead.
Yes.
Okay. So what were you using to power those forms? I know you're using whichever one it was to create it, but actually collecting all the submissions, what
Mhm.
were you using it for?
Right. Yes. Great question. So, building this, yeah, in Claude, obviously right now, this is not, you fill this out, this is not going anywhere. There's a couple different ways you can do it now. It does take a little bit of legwork. You can go in there and create a Google form, but then you have to map and create all of these different fields, and then you can sync it together. So what you're essentially doing is taking this design and laying it on top of a Google form or Google Sheets, and so you're mapping it so all the data would come back and just compile into a Google Sheet. But there's other form creator tools. One we've used in the past, 123 Form Builder, where I can take this design. I don't have the right window open right now, but like say you built this in Claude, you can copy the code in there and lay it on top of a form in 123 Form. So this is how it would look, and then it would just kind of map the data into there. But I'd say the easiest one to do is a Google Sheet.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy had a good question, Blake. Are overused terms the only way others can tell you are using AI? I mean, I can kind of tell from like, I would say overused emojis. I mean, I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
emoji guy, but um, I don't know. When I see LinkedIn posts, sometimes I can just be like, okay, like, not to say the thought's not there, but at the same time, I think you are using like losing someone's like sense of writing style too at the same time. I don't know if
Yes.
there's other ways too, Blake, that you noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think it's back to what you were saying earlier, where there's certain phrases that certain models will use. Back a year ago, you could almost read anything and know, at least if you're in the AI industry, you knew if that was AI created or not. But it seems like every week it's getting better. There's like just in my ChatGPT account, there's 5 different models here, and all of those have different use cases, right? So if I'm doing software development and need to debug code, which I know nobody needs to do in here, but I use a specific model. If I'm trying to write an email that sounds the most humanized, I would use GPT 4.0. Or if you're trying to do research and come up with survey questions, or something that requires a lot of thought, you'd probably choose O1, which is the advanced reasoning model. So it's going to think through your prompt, and it's going to take a little bit longer. It's not going to be 5 seconds, it might be 35 seconds, but it's going to come back with a lot more thoughtful response.
So Blake, have you used Claude for PowerPoint presentations? I know I've used, I think Gamma is one. I think Canva might have just done really or released something with AI generated presentations. But I have, yes, not Claude specifically. For some I have, and it does pretty good. I can't remember
Yeah,
the
so
platform.
I've never used it for PowerPoint decks. Like what I have done is have it craft up all the content and create it as an outline, and then I have a designer that will go through it and more put it together in Canva. One thing I've read a lot about is ChatGPT's integration with Canva. Like you see here, you can go if you have a pro account. You can go to explore GPTs, search for Canva, and they have a couple different ones. And this is the only one you can see here. Like these are your random people that have created integrations, but this is the actual one from Canva. And so you can go there and actually start to talk with Canva. And
Does that
so
integrate to your Canva account then? Is it linked?
from my understanding, yes. So if it's like, create a golf tournament flyer,
Oh, that's
obviously
a
going
garbage
against my
one. You
rules,
said no garbage in, no garbage
right?
out.
This is time saving, right? Purely example. So I have to allow this, yes, to talk to Canva. And yeah, these are going to be very generic examples. This should pop up with images here in a minute. And then I can click into these and start to edit them. It's
Gotcha.
not quite to the point of where I could have given it a bunch of examples like, hey, here's my club name, logo. Here are the exact specifics.
But I
But
think
it
the
is
point is,
going to get there.
yeah, it is
And
going to get there, and that's where, Canva's saved a lot of us a lot of time in flyer design. Now it's going to eventually where you just plug it in, it's just going to pop out amazing, beautiful flyers.
right. And so if I click into this, that is going to instantly open my Canva account with this flyer that then, yes, you still have to go in there and
Yeah.
edit. But what I've read is that is coming to where you can give it all the details. It would have filled all of this out. But it's just not there today.
And Canva also has AI to video as well, so you can prompt videos in there and it's going to create those, I think they're 3 to 5 second videos too that we've used for some little promo reels on Instagram as well, which is pretty cool. I think that's in is it called the Magic Studio maybe? But Canva is quickly evolving. I mean, as is Photoshop and Creative Cloud, but I mean Canva's crazy. It's only getting better. Ooh, in what instances should you use AI to generate flyers? Will AI replace graphic designers? I mean, I would say no, not entirely, but it's gonna make just the average person off the street. I mean, Canva's already made, I'll be honest, our golf shop was not the best with flyers. They were using Publisher. They looked like they were from 1990s with word art. And you know what I'm talking about, that word art. And now like Canva's had them like they look like professional flyers. And so already I think Canva's moving that direction and it's only going to make them better designers. However, we operate at Champions where like we have a shared cloud account where there are some flyers that we do not like that some departments do that we have to switch up a little bit because I don't want to go down brand guidelines and all that. That's a topic for another day, but there are some things where you do want some consistency and that's where AI is going to help that. It's going to understand like Canva, you can upload your brand colors and all that stuff where hopefully in the future, it's going to create just that stuff that adheres to those guidelines.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to fully replace someone. I think what it will do is make their output, 10x the amount of creative work that they're doing. Models will certainly get smart enough to where you can upload your logos, all your fonts, brand kit, color, to where you can, they call it text to image, text to video. You can just put your prompt in, and if you're training it with, let's say you have a database of 100 different flyers and menus and everything that you've created in the past with a professional designer, you train your model with that, it's going to know the specifics of what header and body fonts that you're using, what color logos you use on this type background, or it's going to be able to do it just as well as a professional designer in the future. It's just, it might be 6 months, a year away. Danny asked, which AI engine was used to create the drone footage? So this, let me find the tab again. So this is directly from Amazon Bedrock. And what this AWS account is a developer account. So any video AI creator that you're seeing is connected with 2 or 3 different foundational models. Kind of going back to what I was talking about, verticalizing these models for specific use cases. But Nova Real is a really big one, and that's the one we used for this drone example. There's a couple different, like Sora is out there. I know Facebook is coming out with one, but they're all built off of 2 or 3 different foundational models, and then they're tweaked to be able to do, like, some will focus more on social media, TikTok style videos, where others will be more, film or cinematic focused.
So I'm going to share mine really quick, Blake. So this is one that we did in Dolly. This is our chef, and we were looking for a fun little graphic to go along with our little jingle we created for him. And so this is a combination of Dolly plus Photoshop, where I had his face made in a different program, and then you can kind of see, like, up in the left corner, like, it's still figuring it out. You're not going to get the highest quality stuff yet with, like, Dolly and image generation, but it's only going to get better in the next 6 to 12 months. Cool. We had one more question, maybe not. Sweet.
What I was gonna say, last call for any questions.
We're open books, so feel free to reach out with any questions you have, and it was fun talking to you guys today.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ben and Blake, so much. Great session today. To everybody that joined, thank you so much for being here. We will upload the recording to the website within the next 24 hours. So if you want to revisit it or share with your team, you're more than welcome to. And then I'll also send out contact info for Blake and Ben in case you have any more questions down the line. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.